going to show you how to make the one-pot chicken Alfredo recipe with our new Ninja Foodi. My wife's going to turn it on real quick. Okay, go ahead. You just have to turn it on and preheat it to...
Yeah, I'm going to do the Sear Saute function, and I'm going to do my temperature at medium-high, and then I'm going to hit the start button, and then I'm going to preheat it for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to start cooking.
Okay, everybody, we'll be back in 5 minutes after it preheats. Hey everybody, we got the Ninja Foodi preheated to medium-high. Now we're ready to start putting the ingredients in from the recipe.
So first I diced up my chicken. It calls for 2 chicken breasts. I personally like to buy the chicken breast tenderloins just because they're easier to work with, and I like to season them with a little bit of salt and pepper. I already did that before that, so sorry. But yeah, now we're going to just stick it in here. Oh, also there is a tablespoon of olive oil that I put in there before the recipe, just because that's what it called for, because it makes the chicken cook up really nice. So yeah, pour all that in there, and I usually like to do like 4 minutes like per side on my chicken. It's just kind of my thing. I like to make sure that it's fully cooked because I don't want to try to kill anybody, so yeah. But yeah, I'll give this a little good stir here, and in about 8 minutes we should be ready to go on to the next step. So I am just stirring up my chicken because the first 4 minutes the timer went off, so I'm just stirring it up a little bit so we can cook a little bit more. I have another 4 minutes, give or take, to go on my chicken, just because, like I said before, I don't want to kill anybody. And I like to have it just a little bit more on the golden brown side. Just that way I know that it's really done. So yeah, I'm going to start my timer and we'll be back soon. Okay, so I went ahead and cooked my chicken actually for about 12 minutes, just because I normally cook it on the stove and it takes about 8 minutes, so this is a little bit different. But now here is 3 cloves of garlic that are going in next. I'm just going to kind of scoop those in with my fingers. And we're going to let this actually saute for about a minute before we add in more ingredients. So I'm just going to give this a quick stir and start my little timer. So yeah. Alright, so I'm going to give my chicken and garlic a quick little stir here. It's been about a minute since I put the garlic in. So now we're going to get to add in the heavy cream, which is 1 cup. Sorry, I didn't have it all in one spot, you know. I'm new at this, so bear with me here. And then we're also going to do 1 3/4 cup of chicken broth. And this is a new box of pasta, so I'm going to add about half of this box because it calls for about a ½ pound, and as you can see, this is a full pound. We don't need that much. Kind of about like that. I'm going to give this a good stir. Kind of. This is just your regular whole wheat penne pasta. I mean, you can probably buy whatever kind of pasta you want for this. The recipe that I'm doing calls for the penne pasta. I like the whole wheat just because it makes me feel like we're eating a little bit healthier. So once you get this all nice and stirred up, you actually get to take the pressure cooking lid here and put that on top of it. Of course, it's not going to cooperate. And you'll lock it in there. You want to make sure that your vent or your little pressure cooking vent is actually on the vent side instead of the seal side, just because it'll cause a big huge mess, and we don't want any of that. Also, you're going to actually raise your temperature to high because you want it to actually boil first. And then once it gets boiling, we're going to actually put it down to a low simmer and let it go for about 20 minutes. So I goofed up for my first recipe in here. I actually went ahead and put the lid on before I brought it to a boil. But now that it is at a boil, we're going to go ahead and put the lid back on now. This is your pressure cooking lid. And your Ninja Foodi will actually recognize that you put the lid on. If you still want it to be on your sear and saute, but instead of on high, I'm actually going to change the temperature to low. And I'm actually going to set my timer, if it'll let me. It might not let me, now that I got excited. It's not going to let me. Sorry. I'm going to go ahead and start that. But in 20 minutes, my pasta should be cooked, and we should be good to go for the final step in the recipe. Alright, so now that my 20 minutes is up, I have my I think it's about 1.5 cups of Parmesan cheese. I'm going to actually turn off my, I'm going to turn off my slow cooker, or my Ninja Foodi. Jeez. Set the lid down there. And I'm going to sprinkle in my Parmesan cheese. And basically you just mix all that together, kind of like so. And then believe it or not, that's really it. It actually calls, you can sprinkle in some like fresh parsley or basil. I just have the dried stuff, so I'll probably sprinkle some of that in the end, but that is basically the whole it. Yeah, and actually you can, if you want to mix it up a little bit and get a little more creative, you can actually do some spinach, or you can do some broccoli. I would probably just recommend cooking the spinach or broccoli like beforehand and put it in there right before you do this Parmesan cheese, because as you can see, as I'm mixing it around in here, it's going to get pretty creamy and cheesy. So yeah, but this is pretty much it. Alright, so here it goes. Here is the final product. Obviously you can see the Parmesan cheese is super melty. I'm hoping it's going to be delicious. I mean, it should be because I made it. Sorry, that was a really stupid joke. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of cheese going on in here. And I'm going to go ahead and take a little sample, just because I made it and I want to make sure it's good before I serve it to anybody else. And yes, I did an outstanding job.